Hey guys, what is going on? Death After Life here. Today is Friday, April 15th. It's about 11:20 where I live right now in the morning. Really quickly, I just wanted to do what I'm going to call a nerd type of video. I don't know if you would call it that, but I'm going to call it a nerd video because if you guys remember, I was talking about in my future plans video about me wanting to be a storm chaser or a seismologist. So, if I'm pretty sure some people know about this, but yesterday there were some earthquakes over in Japan that did a lot of damage. And I'm gonna just pull it up real quick. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but right there it's flipped upside down. But on the bottom there's a 6.2 magnitude. That was the first earthquake, and they had several what you would call aftershocks, and they had a large one of a 6.0, but just within about 2 hours ago, they had a 7.0. There it is right there, I believe, if you guys can see it. I know it's flipped. Maybe I can figure out another way to reverse it one day. But it was a 7.0 on the Richter scale, so it was a lot larger than the other earthquakes that occurred during the. It's not really a swarm, but it's been earthquakes that have been happening a lot over there, and it's been pretty active. Around the world, there's been about. I'm gonna just pull up something real quick. I'm sorry if you guys see me looking down on this, but I just want to look at it real quick to see how many earthquakes above magnitude 6 there have been in the last day, or the last 2 days, as I'm pulling it up real quick. And I'll even show you guys too. Magnitude 4.5 pluses. I gotta widen out on the map real quick, but from what I believe, around the world there's been more than 10 earthquakes since I say about midnight on Thursday. When it became Thursday, there had been several earthquakes near magnitude 6 or above, which means that activity is a lot higher than it is usually around the world, but not necessarily all the earthquakes are connected in a way. Because where I live, near the Pacific, we're in the Ring of Fire, which experiences a lot of earthquakes mainly because of volcanoes. So, here, let me pull this up real quick. I forgot I gotta zoom out all the way, bring up the list. Ah, damn it. Sorry, guys. I really do apologize for doing this on a very not really a short notice, but the way I'm doing it right now, it's like crazy. So, well, there's less than I thought, but there've been a lot of magnitude 6 earthquakes. There's been, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There've been 8 earthquakes, most of them over in Japan with magnitude 6 or larger quakes. But really quick, what I'm going to explain about the 7.0 that occurred this morning is, you guys might not know about this, but the 6.2 and the 6.0s that occurred earlier, they were foreshocks. And a foreshock is an earthquake that leads to a larger earthquake. Like, I forgot that's basically the definition of a foreshock. It's an earthquake that leads to an even stronger earthquake. So the 6.2 and the 6.0 that happened yesterday in Japan, those would be considered foreshocks to the 7.0, and anything that occurs less than the main shock, which was today, would be an aftershock of diminishing magnitude. So they could still see some earthquakes that are large. I saw there's a lot of devastation, and there are a lot of fires that broke out too, and that's what happens when gas mains rupture during earthquakes. Like here, I live in California, we're the earthquake capital of the world. We're the state with the most earthquakes, like the large earthquakes too. And one day, like where I live, I am only about 4 to 5 miles away from the largest fault. Not the largest fault in the Bay Area, but I live 5 miles from the Hayward Fault, which is set to go off any day now in a magnitude 6.8 to 7.4 earthquake. And I will be here where I live because it's gonna be a scary thing to go through. I know what could happen in very large earthquakes. The largest earthquake I've been through is a 6.0, and that happened about 2 years ago, and it was about 30 miles north from where I was. But if you had moved that earthquake just a little bit to the south from where it occurred, there would have been a lot more damage. And I, it's I'm not gonna lie, I'm looking forward to the big one happening here, but at the same time, it's gonna catch people off guard, and I know it will catch me off guard, especially if it happens in the morning or something like that. But I'm not trying to worry anybody. We all know it's gonna happen any day. It can happen at any time. It can happen right now as I'm talking. It can happen 30 years from now. But it's a scary thing to think about. But we have to be prepared for earthquakes anywhere around the world where you might be living. From where you're seeing this right now, you guys could have an earthquake at any time. You don't need to have an active fault zone to have an earthquake. Like it won't be necessarily a large earthquake, but it can happen at any time. But I just wanted to make this really quick video, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later.